A new champion is crowned, but why do we feel blah about it? And we're going Inspiration Corner style for this Saturday. Cold Sports goes on the daily. Thank you for joining me on this comfortable, easy-going Saturday edition of On the Daily. I am Cole Johnson, and we'll get right down to it. Topic of the day, please. So there's been a bit of news, a few tidbits of news. Julian Edelman of the Patriots may be in line for a 4-game suspension. I'm going to talk about that. Justify may become the next Triple Crown winner later on today in the Belmont Stakes. I'm not going to talk about that. The French Open is rounding its end. I'm not going to talk about that. What we're going to discuss, of course, is the biggest event in sports yesterday, which was Game 4 of the 2018 NBA Finals. In their absolutely beautiful coronation of a game, the Warriors soundly and roundly defeated the Cavaliers 108-85 to put a nice tidy bow on the series, and they swept the LeBron James-led Cavaliers. Buoyed by the 37-point performance by Stephen Curry, the Warriors just simply put the gas on in the third quarter, and it was a wrap. But the MVP of the finals was not Stephen Curry. No, it was one Mr. Kevin Durant, who wins the award back-to-back. The sixth player ever to do that. Do I think that Curry got cheated out of the finals MVP? But then when you look at the fact that Curry had 10 points in Game 3, and he did an okay job guarding LeBron James, whereas Durant did a decent, probably a little better job of D'ing up on LeBron, plus ending Game 4 with a triple-double. I mean, you really can't say anything bad about either choice. Durant won the award 7-4, and it was good. It was due him. I think what I found more intriguing than the game and the fact that it looked as though the Cavaliers were resigned to the fact that, wow, okay, we're on this court and we are playing against a team that is far superior to us. Besides that, LeBron James in a post-game press conference wore a bandage on his right hand. And it was explained that it was due to his hasty rush of adrenaline and frustration after Game 1, putting blame on somebody much, Mr. James? You suffered a sound defeat. You played a better team, and there's no harm in getting whooped. Now, some are passing forth the narrative that the team and LeBron in general quit. I don't think LeBron quit. But what I do think is simple. And it was explained, I believe, in Speak for Yourself, which I have to admit, to actually say that a show like Jason Whitlock's and Colin Cowherd actually got the narrative right, is you're comparing someone like LeBron James to someone like a Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan, who simply had that competitive fire where, yeah, they had talent, but if it was legal, they'd want to kill you on the court. If it meant scoring 70 points, if it meant getting 20 rebounds, if it meant getting 15 assists, if it meant elbowing the center, it didn't matter. If it were legally able to be done, they would do it. I'm talking about Jordan and Kobe. LeBron gets away with his God-given ability and talent, but when you're dealing with a superior force, I've said this before and I'll say it again, a good player can be soundly defeated by a good team. Look at Wilt versus the Celtics in the 60s. Look at Jordan versus the Bad Boy Pistons in the late 80s. I mean, the proof is there. It's there. Black and white. The Warriors are a better team than LeBron could ever be. And as I said, you can't clone somebody. 5-on-1 never's worked and won't work. So what do the Cavaliers do now? And what does LeBron James do now? Tough way for the season to end for the Cavaliers. But somebody has to come in second place. Yay. That is your topic of the day. When I return, a subject that you really wouldn't think is inspirational, but I believe it is. The Inspiration Corner is next. Coming up on Monday's edition of On the Daily, we're going to go rapid fire. We're going to touch on the topics that piqued the interest of sports fans this past weekend, and one in particular I will be going in on. That's Monday, though. For today, many would probably say that I am out of my mind in saying Donald Trump and inspiration in the same sentence, but I will give it a shot. President Trump decided to put forth the, I guess you could say, olive branch to the NFL players and asked for those who he thought needed to receive a commuted sentence or a pardon outright. Should I say that this actually is a step in the right direction? But let me unwrap that in today's Inspiration Corner. So, of course, last month, the NFL decides to crack down hard on the stance of national anthem protests. Well, they already watered it down to call it that because it really wasn't a protest toward the song itself. Although there's merit to protest the song for some of the lyrics in it. But it was a protest done to shed the light on social justice ills that took place. And the meeting between Goodell and the owners by themselves and not involving the Players Association was pretty much done as a stopgap measure, probably a revenue protector measure. But it also was an indictment against the players who protested and saying, you can do this, but your platform we don't truly care about. The bottom line for us is revenue. That's why we got all these billions, and we need to protect that because we don't want our billions to become millions again. As a business person, I understand that. Totally do. As a human being which rules more over the business person, it leaves a heavy salt in the wound. Because I would expect the septuagenarians and the octogenarians to actually care more about the human than they would about their portfolio, but it's not the case. In fact, that's how they got rich. Sorry, that's how they got wealthy. But there might be a silver lining at this. So yesterday, before he went to the G7 summit, on the White House lawn, President Trump said that he was willing to meet with NFL players. In fact, he said he wanted them to give him names of those who he felt their sentences needed to be commuted or outright pardoned. And I've had this discussion with a few of my friends, and I said to them, this to me is a surprise. In fact, I wasn't expecting this. Now, am I thinking that we should throw a parade down Pennsylvania Avenue because of this? No. Work still needs to be done. And it's funny that we're talking about all of this when teams don't want to be invited to the White House. This past week alone, from the White House, they released statements saying that the Eagles and now the Warriors would not be invited to the White House. So the traditional, we get to celebrate with the president at our feet in two different sports, next. So it's set against that backdrop, and I'm thinking the president is looking at this and saying, well, I need to make inroads somewhere. And this is why I say, great political move. Sorry, it's a great political move. Now, when will it become a great human move? When the president can hear from a few of those players saying, this type of law needs to be abolished, this type of law needs to be amended, this type of situation needs to be averted, and this type of situation needs improvement. Chiefly, sentences of drug possession shouldn't be lighter for one culture versus another. Jails, they shouldn't be overpopulated with one culture over another disproportionately. Police brutality. There is no way on this planet a person should be shot and killed, or what I say, legally murdered, if the citizen is unarmed. And if the citizen is armed, if the weapon isn't drawn, they should not be shot and killed either. If that dialogue can happen between the president and the NFL players, then we're getting somewhere. But the problem is, I'm seeing a lot of toxic masculinity going on, because you got one who is saying you should probably stand up for the flag, basically saying that forced nationalism is the way to go. And you have another who is saying, you know what? Take your forced nationalism and shove it. Now, some would like that understanding. Others, like myself, would say both sides have to kill that noise. You have to rise above the hate, rise above the masculine, misplaced masculinity, and you have to rise above the hurt feelings and emotions to realize that there is a bigger and better platform for all of us if you powerful brokers can get together and hammer out something. There is a scripture in the Bible where Paul writes to the Romans, where he talks about how hate should not be overcome with hate. And that's what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing people hating for some reason this stance, and on the other side, people hating this stance, but no love. And that's how you overcome hate. You don't overcome evil with evil, you overcome evil with love. That's the scripture. Marvin Gaye said it and sang it more poignantly, saying, "For only love can conquer hate," in the song What's Going On. And that's what we need to do. And that's what you all need to do. And am I saying that this isn't bait? It might be. But let's turn that bait, or possible bait, into something concrete. And stop wrangling over the should I kneel or shouldn't I kneel? Is this a spit into the faces of the military or not? Because that is immaterial. What is material is you all are human, and you all need to do something about these ills that are going on in the street, even now. And as an aside, you know the protest, the systemic oppression protest that Colin Kaepernick started? That happened during the Obama administration. So all those killings happened in his administration as well. So this isn't a black-white thing. This isn't a Democrat-Republican thing. This is a human thing. And it's time for us to get on with the business of being human. That is your Inspiration Corner. Happen to like this episode or any episode you have seen thus far, you already know the drill. Red button below, click on it. Subscribe to Cole Sports Presents on the Daily. You're going to get choice videos like this 6 days a week. You can't beat that. And also, join me on Instagram where we'll get the question of the day presented by Cole Sports. I'm sure you're going to love it, and people are loving it already. So thank you for the response. It's been overwhelming, and I appreciate the love. Continue to send that love. And as a program note, going live on Periscope will be put aside for a while. And as for this content here, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Spread the word. This is the cleanest, the most energetic, the most informative sports program, and the classiest as well on the planet. You can't get any better than this. The content is what you want, what you desire, and what you deserve. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Well, that's all the time I have. Join me Monday as we go on the daily again, as we touch on all of what has gone on in the world of sports. For now, I'm Cole Johnson. This is Cole Sports on the visual and on the daily.